clicked on this video, you're probably looking for a beginner level flute for either yourself or your child. Here are the things that in my 25 years of teaching experience and playing even longer than that, what I recommend for my students and their families when looking for a beginner level instrument. And I promise you, everything that I recommend is band director approved. The first thing that is the absolute number one most important factor is the brand. The brand will be right here on this band. So I know you're going to see lots of really great prices on Amazon for flutes that are like $50, $75. When a flutist, that's like a professional level flutist that you may see, reviews these Amazon flutes on YouTube, on Amazon itself, we can make a tin can sound nice, but a new beginning student, they're not going to be able to make that flute sound the way that we hear it from a professional. And we want to set the student up for as much success right off the bat as possible. Even getting a sound out on the flute is really difficult and can take a couple weeks to do. So when we have a reputable brand, that's going to set you up for the most immediate wins, success there. And that instrument is going to be so much more durable and last a whole lot longer, which is a much better bang for your buck. So as far as which brands I recommend, here's a list. Any of these are going to be fantastic options. You can find them new, you can find them used for even a really, better price. There are a lot of music stores now that are selling on eBay used instruments that have been serviced by them, that have a guarantee, that have a return policy and all of that. So if you're wanting to save some money, stay away from the Amazon and go towards eBay or used recently serviced instruments, because you really can find a great deal provided that the brand is a reputable brand. Another note about used instruments, in my 25 years of playing the flute, it's actually been longer than that, only 3 of the flutes that I have ever played throughout that time have ever been new. And that's including the one that I'm holding here, but this was a demo model. So it was never owned by anybody, but it was played by people because you could tell that it was scratched and all of that. Nothing that affected the sound, but because of the scratches, I was able to save 15% on this flute. No one knows it's scratched but me. I don't care. It's gonna end up happening anyway, it's just normal wear and tear that happens to a flute. But I gotta tell you, I saved a pretty penny on a new instrument just because it was a floor model or a demo model. So that's something else that you can find out in music stores that might save you a little bit of extra money. But I don't stay away from used instruments at all. I think you can really find a great deal on them, provided that they were well maintained and that they've been recently serviced. So the next thing beyond the brand is the type of metal that it is made out of. You'll sometimes see nickel, you'll see nickel silver. That's fine as long as you or your child doesn't have a nickel allergy. Some people have a sensitivity to nickel, and so it can cause skin irritation, it can cause the flute to discolor. So that's just, kind of a thing to keep in the back of your mind. That will be the lowest price point. If you can, go with silver plated. That's what this is. This is a silver plated flute. You wouldn't have any idea that it wasn't solid silver or anything like that. But silver plating, it just really kind of enhances the sound. It reduces the risk of having any allergy to it, and it helps make it really durable. If you are looking used, you might see sterling silver or solid silver in the price point of new silver plated flutes. That's great too, that's even better. On some flutes, you'll see that they'll talk about the head joint being hand cut. That's great. There are some brands of flutes that have upgraded head joints. That's this part that we blow across to make the sound. The nicer the head joint is, the better the sound's gonna be. So if it is a hand cut head joint or a professional level head joint, that's wonderful. That is really setting your student or yourself up for success, getting a sound that's really nice right off the bat. It's not the end of the world if it's not a hand cut head joint, but if you do see that in a listing on eBay or, out on a brand new, at a music store, that's really, really good and something to consider getting. As far as the keys go, you'll see either closed hole or plateau like this. That means there's no holes in here. Closed hole, it makes sense, right? Or open hole. Sometimes you'll see French style. That means that there are holes in these keys keys here. And that is where your fingers cover over these large keys to make the sound. The open hole flutes tend to be a step up. They don't tend to be beginner level, beginner model flutes. They tend to be a little bit more advanced, which have more advanced features, probably a hand cut head joint, maybe a solid silver flute or something like that. If you find a great deal and that happens to have open holes, grab some plugs. You can get some plastic ones. They also sell cork or metal. We want to have those holes closed right off the bat for a brand new student, just to make sure that the keys are fully sealing to make the best sounds and the best notes, to have the reduced amount of frustration possibilities. Holes can equal frustration for a beginner student. So if you can, look for a plateau or a closed hole flute like I have here. But if you happen to find a really great deal on an open hole flute, grab some plugs, that's totally fine. The next feature you might see in a listing or description is offset G or inline G. Offset G is the way you're gonna wanna go if you can. That means that it's this button right here. So you can see that these are all in line with each other, but this is offset down a little bit. It's because of our ring finger. The way our hands are set up, ring finger tends to be a little bit shorter. And so it just makes it a little more comfortable when it is an offset G. If you get a plateau key flute, closed hole flute, it's 99.999% of the time, it's gonna be an offset G automatically. You don't even have to worry about it. It's when you see an open hold flute or a French model flute that might have an inline G to where the key is up here, and it's a bit of a stretch for smaller hands. Again, the plugs are gonna help a lot, but if you can avoid it, I would avoid the inline G and go with the offset G. You will also see something that says either C foot or B foot. That's the foot joint down here at the very end of the flute. I, on this flute, have a C foot joint, which means it plays down to a low C, or the C below, middle C in the middle of the staff. Sometimes open hold flutes will have a B foot where there'll be an extra key right here. It's an extra little feature, certainly not important. I wouldn't prioritize it. Most of the time, it's those open hold flutes that have that. If it comes with it, great, but I wouldn't go out of my way to get a flute that has a B foot joint. C foot is fine for what the student is going to need. One other one that you might see is a split E option. Split E is an extra little mechanism that helps to play a high E natural. A high E natural is a difficult note on the flute, not impossible to play, but a split E key helps to make it come out a little bit easier, a little more in tune. It's an extra feature. I, again, like the B foot, would not prioritize it. So if it doesn't say split E, don't worry about it. If it does say split E, that's a bonus. And the last thing really is the case. You'll probably want to get a case that's like this, that has latches like so. Sometimes they make, I think they're called French cases, that are a little less sturdy than this. And if your child is in late elementary or early middle school, this is the case you're gonna wanna have, because it's gonna be a much better protection of the flute, because dropping it happens. It comes with the territory. It's just a thing. And so having a really sturdy case that's not going to pop open if you do drop it is going to be your best bet. So the more sturdy the case, the better. I think that does it. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to put them in the comment section below. I am happy to answer anything that I can for you. And if you are brand new to learning the flute, or you have a child that's brand new to learning the flute, I have a course on Udemy that's called Learn Flute Fast, and it will set you up with making a sound, getting the first notes out, pretty much anything that you or your child would need right off the bat, starting the flute. So I will put that link in the description bar below. Thank you so much. Again, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to comment below, and I'll see you in the next one. Good luck.